This is popcorn, corn, heat, maybe butter, maybe chocolate, depending on what the lobby is feeling today. And yet, inside a movie theater, this humble bucket somehow transforms into one of the most expensive cravings of the weekend. Outside the theater, popcorn is a snack. Inside the theater, it becomes a part of the theater's business model. So why is movie popcorn so expensive? Is it as simple as, they're trapped now, so let's charge them more? The real answer is hiding somewhere between accounting and your brain. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what is going on. We are going to follow the money from your pocket, to the studio, to the concession stand, and finally to the giant tub that somehow costs more than the movie tickets sometimes. So let's begin. To understand movie popcorn, we have to start with a simple question. Why popcorn and not any other snack? Popcorn is almost suspiciously perfect for theaters. It is cheap to make, fast to serve, stores well. It does not need plates. It does not require a chef named Gordon yelling, "It's not good enough." And most importantly, it smells like a dream. Popcorn does not just sit there. It announces itself. The smell escapes the machine, floats through the lobby, and politely attacks your wallet. This matters because theaters sell a sensory experience. A movie ticket buys you a seat and a screen. Popcorn sells the feeling that you are doing the movie properly. But popcorn did not begin as fancy cinema food. It was street food. Portable popcorn machines made popcorn easy to sell at fairs, circuses, sporting events, and eventually outside movie theaters. By the 1920s, American movie attendance was booming, and popcorn vendors noticed the crowds before theater owners fully understood the opportunity. At first, many theaters hated this. Early movie palaces wanted elegance, beautiful carpets, fancy lobbies, a little bit of, please admire our architecture before watching a silent man fall over. Popcorn did not fit that image. It was noisy. It was messy. It left crumbs everywhere. And in the silent film era, eating during a movie was much harder to ignore. Smithsonian notes that theaters were trying to imitate live theaters and did not want popcorn to be a disturbance in the experience and the cleanliness of the theater. Then sound films arrived, and suddenly, movies had dialogue, music, effects, and enough noise to cover the crunching. And then the Great Depression changed economics. People still wanted an affordable escape. Movies were one of the few small luxuries many people could justify. Popcorn was also cheap enough for customers and profitable enough for vendors and theater owners. Serious Eats, summarizing Andrew Smith's history of popcorn, describes popcorn as an affordable luxury during the Depression, and notes that theaters began renting lobby space to popcorn vendors, before eventually bringing the stands in-house. That is when popcorn went from nuisance to an opportunity. Okay, that explains why theaters sell it in the first place, but why do people crave it when they walk in? Let's enter the dangerous part of the theater. It's not a horror movie, it's the lobby. The lobby is where adults look at 3 bucket sizes and suddenly realize if they don't buy one, what's the point of coming to the theater? This is not just hunger, it's actually a well-planned strategy. Movie popcorn has become attached to the act of watching movies. The smell, the bucket, the red seats, the dark rooms, they are all part of the same behavioral loop. There is even research that explains this. In a 2011 study published in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, researchers gave moviegoers either fresh popcorn or stale, week-old popcorn. Habitual movie popcorn eaters ate about the same amount whether it was fresh or stale. Their hunger and liking mattered less than the theater context and the habit. Let that sink in. Some people ate stale popcorn not because it tasted good, but because they just instinctively wanted a bucket when they watched the movie. This is why movie popcorn is not like normal food. You are not comparing it to the cost of kernels in a supermarket. You are comparing it to the movie night ritual you expected to have. The theater knows this. That is why the popcorn machine is visible. That is why the menu usually offers a small, a medium, and a large. Because size ladders make upgrades and decisions to buy either a medium or a large feel rational. But these alone do not explain the price yet. For that, we have to go further behind the ticket counter. This is the part that makes popcorn less of a snack and more important for sustenance of the theater. A movie theater is not just selling movies. It is operating a very expensive building that is only useful when people decide to sit quietly in the dark at scheduled times. That means rent, staff, cleaning, electricity, projection systems, maintenance, seats, air conditioning, insurance, and enough carpet to absorb several generations of footfall. The obvious solution would be ticket sales. Except ticket sales are complicated. When you buy a movie ticket, the theater does not simply keep all of that money. Ticket revenue is shared with the studio or distributor. Time reported that roughly half of the ticket can go to the studio. So what can theaters sell that they could keep the entire margins of and make sense with the entire experience? You guessed it. The humble popcorn. So the ticket gets you inside the theater. But the popcorn helps pays for the theater, and the lobby, and the electricity, and the person cleaning up the popcorn you personally dropped during the trailer. This is why popcorn matters so much. Stanford Graduate School of Business summarizes research showing that concessions account for about 20% of gross revenues, but around 40% of theaters' profits. That is the whole episode hiding in one statistic. Concessions are not the biggest part of the receipt, but they can be one of the most profitable parts. Time also cites analyst estimates that average concession margins sit in the mid 80% range, with basic items like popcorn and soda estimated even higher. So when you look at a bucket of popcorn and think, this is too expensive, the theater may be looking at the same bucket and thinking, you are my savior. That said, this math has become even stressed these days because of a new player rising at rapid growth. Streaming has changed the entire ecosystem that theaters compete in. A theater is no longer only competing with a theater across town. It is competing with your couch, your subscription apps, your fridge, your ability to watch a movie without paying for parking or whispering, "Excuse me," past 12 knees. That does not mean theaters are dead. It means theaters have to make the visit feel like an event. In 2023, AMC reported $54 million in revenue from collectible concession vessels, according to Time. Think about that. The popcorn bucket itself has also become a product. Theater economics are pushing popcorn to do even more work. It is not just food anymore. It is margin. It is a tiny edible pillar holding up a very large business model. But if popcorn is so profitable, why not just charge less and sell more while making the tickets more expensive? Imagine two customers. Customer A wants only the movie. No snacks, no drinks, no extras. Customer A arrives with monk-level discipline and leaves with clean fingers. Customer B wants the full ritual. Popcorn, drink, maybe candy, maybe a collectible bucket, maybe even a refill. If the theater raises ticket prices, both customers pay more. Customer A may stop coming. But if the theater keeps the base ticket relatively accessible and charges more for optional concessions, Customer B pays more voluntarily, keeping Customer A satisfied with the movie alone. That is the hidden pricing strategy. Economists call this metering or price discrimination. Normal people call it "my life, my rules." So sure, popcorn is expensive, but it is not simply expensive food. It is optional ticket inflation disguised as a snack that helps the theaters to keep going. The concession stand became a second box office, except this box office smelled better. So to answer the question of what you are really paying extra for, you aren't just buying popcorn. You are actually paying for theater economics. You thought the price was about corn. It's really about context. The ticket gets split. The building has fixed costs. The snack counter keeps more of the money. The smell creates desire before the movie even starts. And the optional nature of concessions lets theaters charge more to people who want the full experience, without making every single ticket dramatically more expensive. That is why movie popcorn is so expensive. And not simply because theaters woke up one day and said, "Let us ruin everyone's budget with corn." Movie popcorn is expensive because it became the perfect edible loophole in the movie theater business. And that is the hidden receipt.